What exactly is happening with SoFi Technology? Where do we expect this stock to head in the next few months? So taking a quick look at a 5-year chart for SoFi Technologies, on here we can see that the stock is up 8.26%, with it taking a fall in 2022 and it's starting to rise up again now, late 24. So within the last month here we can see an increase of 35.76%. This is due to a few factors, including the US election and their Q3 report being quite substantial, and also a huge acquisition of this stock by big whales within the industry. I've got this source from the Stock Goat on YouTube. I'll leave a link to him down in the description. But basically here it says that there was an $85 million purchase of SoFi stock within Q3. So they are very clearly bullish on SoFi stock at the moment. So taking a quick look at the 5-day chart for SoFi, we can see that they are up 4.77% with it being relatively volatile. However, it does seem to be staying above the $13 mark. This could be seen as bullish in a sense, as it's clearly not dropping down below that resistance. While the stock is up 5% in the last 5 days, it has been a pretty poor week for SoFi. This is just due to the massive volatility in the stock. As it ended well on the week, it wasn't a good week with huge dips, with some huge highs as well, but the dips were consistently dippy, I guess. So it has been a bit of a tough week for the stock. However, despite this, the PE ratio still states that SoFi is undervalued. However, despite this really positive PE ratio, the EPS is not particularly great at 0.12. At the moment, small caps are underperforming in the market, and they are expected to bounce back within the next year. They're currently roughly around the 25% mark, and they're expected to be around the 50 to 100%. So there is room for growth still within SoFi Technology. This according to Tom Lee. So taking a look at the balance sheet for SoFi on a quarterly review, looking at Q3 just gone, we can deduct a quick liquidity equation to see how their liquid cash measures up to their debt. So currently for the last quarter, SoFi Technology had a liquidity rate of 0.9. So that means that they have 90 cents of liquid cash per dollar of debt in which they owed, which is not awful, but it's not great, as you essentially want at least $1 to pay back your debt in liquid cash, as you can't be selling out assets in order to pay your debt back, as in the world of business, cash is king. However, if we do compare this to the similar year ago quarter, they had a liquidity rate of 0.51, so this is definitely an improvement for SoFi. While their cash has dropped, their debt has also dropped significantly more, so they are seeming to be on a better trajectory than they were a year ago, similar quarter. And now moving on to the income statement for SoFi Technology, we can conduct a retention rate where we can see how much money is falling out of the business due to losses. Doing so allows me to see for Q3 they had a retention rate of 8.75. Typically you want to see a business getting around 10% or more. However, with SoFi being still a relatively new company, 8.75 is not that bad. And as I said before, there is still much more room for growth for SoFi. I see it rising significantly within the next year or two. And this is showing to be relatively stable, as the trailing 12 months shows a retention rate of 8.63. So looking at the figures here, we can see a fluctuation in losses. However, total revenue is relatively stable, with some of the anomalies being things such as special income charges, which is another way of saying special tax. So now moving on to a free cash flow statement on a quarterly review. We can see that this has been a bit volatile, with it increasing in Q1 of this year. And from there, it has been steadily decreasing. And taking a look on an annual review, we see something very similar. It's currently not looking too good on the free cash flow for SoFi Technologies. And this is quite important, as this money will be used for stock buybacks, paying out dividends, which I will check if they pay out any. They do not currently pay out dividends, which Makes sense. And so it's stock buybacks, paying out dividends, and paying down debt, which they don't seem to be too harsh on, as their liquidity is okay. So that concludes the finances for SoFi Technology. In my opinion, there's plenty of room to grow, but at the moment it's a bit mid. It's just nothing spectacular for a company with such potential, if you kind of get what I'm saying. But this stock is expected to grow within the next year, and I do believe it has the right tools to do so. Taking a quick look at a projection for SoFi Technology in the future, we can see that analysts are predicting it to slightly fall down towards the 90-day mark. However, around the new year, around about here, we are expecting it to peak. But these charts are a bit wishy-washy, as they say that it's either going to go up or down, but there seems to be more of an uptrend. As a mechanical engineer, this sort of graph reminds me of a CFD analysis, which is computational fluid dynamics. It's very similar in style, and there is reasoning behind that in my head. But at some point soon, I will do a video on how I view the stock market as a mechanical engineer, just to hopefully give you all a bit of insight into how I process what I do within finance. So taking a quick look at what the analysts say for this stock, 17 analysts have said on average to hold the stock. That isn't particularly promising, as stocks such as JP Morgan, Coinbase and Nvidia, which are currently in, well, they're obviously much bigger scale companies, but they're in a similar market situation in a sense. They're saying either strong buy or buy. So a hold isn't particularly promising for SoFi. So with that in mind, I can only give SoFi Technologies a C on the rankings chart. This is just due to many factors, such as their okay finances, which I do see room for growth, and I do believe it will grow, of course. The fact in which many huge whales within the industry are buying into SoFi Technology at this point. However, on the negatives, I just see it as a bit of a risk personally at this point. I do currently hold SoFi Technology shares, and I might be closing this position soon. But in my opinion, I do see a potential re-entry position in around late January, early February. So I hope this video has been useful. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just for entertainment and educational purposes only. You should always do your own research before buying into a stock, as when you do, your capital will be at risk. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment on your thoughts on SoFi Technology, and I'll see you for the next video tomorrow.